Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is July the 6th, 2023, and Kiki is here once again in her new July monthly outfit to welcome you to the new month. She has a different outfit every month, and I don't know if the sparkle is coming through, but this is made with aquas and greens and just made me think of water. And I think a lot of people spend time at the beach or a lake or somewhere like that in July when they have their holidays. And being the new month, the beginning of the second half of the year, you will remember that last week I did an update on my progress with my goals for this year. And remember, this is the year 2023. And for those that follow me any length of time, you know that 23 is my number. So I called this the year of Judy. And it has been a pretty good year so far. I started a CAL, either CAL or KAL, at the beginning of the year, and it runs monthly, and everybody seems to be enjoying it. And we have done a few different things throughout the year, and I'm trying some new things, and I have more to try before the year is over, but I'm enjoying it. Now, talking about my monthly CAL, I got lots of very positive comments again on the slideshow. If you have not seen it, I put out a video on Saturday, which was July the 1st. And I'm just really sorry to say, and I just wanted to mention this, that I had 3 more people send me pictures, but they sent them to me on Friday. And I very sadly had to tell them it was too late. We would have had 25 in the slideshow, which to me is exciting. But I do give a deadline date every month, and there is a reason for that. It takes me a while to go through all of the emails and save your pictures to my photo album and make the notes I need about who sent what, and notes that are good enough that I can get here on the video and explain each one that you're going to see without seeing them myself. And so it takes time to make the video. And then I have to, after I make the video, I have to go back and edit and get every picture in the right place according to my description. And sometimes I make mistakes there, as you've noticed. So unfortunately, when they come in late, I can't do a lot about that. So please watch and listen for the date. I will make sure to say the date I need the pictures at least once or twice during the month. And I'm going to say right now, for July, I need them by July the 28th. And you might want to keep your eye on my community tab. Anytime you're online, you just need to go to my channel, my home page, and up above, you'll see community. And if you click that on, you'll see various announcements. And there are, I don't know, 3, maybe even 4 there now. And I have put up the information for the July CAL with the pictures, inspiration picture. So keep an eye on that. I also have a Ravelry group, a group in Ravelry that is all about my CALs, and you can go in there each month, and you can post on Instagram. And when you post on Instagram, be sure to use hashtag Judy's Cal, CAL 2023. That way I know it's there. I won't see it necessarily if you don't put that in it. So enough about that. We will talk about it a little throughout the month. The other thing is, you probably noticed something very different today. My background. I got a surprise when I walked into, it's actually a sewing room. When I walked into my sewing room where I do my videotaping and I have my yarn, the lights would not come on. I don't know if that means both tubes have blown, but I think they're fairly new, so I don't know. I couldn't get the lights on. I can't videotape in the dark, so I quickly moved as much as I could out here for now, or I have a pretty plain background. This is the room next to my sewing room. So sorry you don't have the pretty yarn to look at today. I know that's much more interesting than this old paneling. So the first thing I want to show you are a few finished objects. This, of course, was the shawl I made for June, for the June cow. And so we won't talk about it again. But I never did show you this tee. I don't know if I can get it far enough back for you to see the whole thing. There we go. Almost, you can see it. There's the bottom. And I did make this tee to be entered in Tanks and Tees 2023 that is hosted by Lynn Ann at Nina's Knots Crochet and Jackie at Crochet DHD. This top is supposed to have buttons. I didn't have any buttons to go on it. And they say it can be worn both directions. So I did get it done in time to get it entered in that cow. Doesn't fit me the way I like. That's typical of any top I made. It is very different. I can't remember the name of it. I will look it up and post it in the description box below. But what's different is it's a top-down top. You start and work down, and usually you work in a complete circle. But this one doesn't join at the front. It stays open. Can you see? Can you see where I've laced it up here? That's because this is open. And you go all the way around and back, around and back. You don't join it in a complete circle the way most top-down tees or tanks or sweaters are made. And then when you get down to here, that's where the seam ends. When you get down to here, then you join it under the arms, like is typical of a top-down sweater. And this one is a raglan one. You join it here, and then from then on, you go around all the way around until the bottom. In this particular case, it had lace. It had more rows than this one. I stopped after a couple, and then there was a row or two to put around each sleeve with a little bit of lace there. So that is something I did get done just last week, and I sent it over to Lynn to enter it in her slideshow. So if you watch Lynn, you would have seen that posted there. The other finished object I have is this shawl. A lot of jiggling to do here. This shawl, which I'll turn around so you can see the back, and hopefully that's not a really long one, although I've got it bunched up here at the neck. And you can see it has texture here. This is called the Shell Waves shawl, and it's a pattern by Wilma Westenberg. Now, she has a pattern on Ravelry. I will link that. And on her pattern page, she has a link to her blog, so you can go and do the pattern for free on her blog. I don't have that quite centered. Or she also has a tutorial on YouTube, and I will link her tutorial as well as her pattern on Ravelry. So whichever way you find easiest to do a pattern, she has it. So I'll just bring it here and show the whole thing. It's a good width, and it is made with, this one is made with Mandala Baby. Now she made hers with a regular mandala, but I happen to have this in my stash to make some shawls. And this particular shawl will go up in, and so will this one, will go up in my donation box that we're building on for probably the nursing homes. So that's all I have finished objects. If there's time at the end, I may discuss things that I'm working on. But if we don't have time, then that can wait. So I think what you're mostly interested in this week is seeing my Christmas in July. I said we're going to do Christmas in July this month, and I purposely bought a advent calendar after the fact last year. Somebody still had some for sale, so I bought one for July. This has no extras in it. It did not come in little pre-packaged little special packages. And the other difference with this one is they are 10-gram minis, not 20-gram minis. So they only have about 45 yards in them, which is okay. I'm going to do something with them. So I'm going to open 1 through 6 today, being that it's July the 6th. Now, they are in little bags because I had bags from a previous advent calendar. And when the bag arrived and I looked in and immediately saw them all in one big plastic bag, I closed it up right away and I gave it to my girlfriend and I said, here's some bags. Take this home and put these little skeins in the bags. Now, as it turned out, there were 3, I think, bags missing. Well, actually probably only 2, but this went to the 25th. So there are 2 that I can see ahead of time, but that doesn't spoil it too much. So we're going to start opening bags and celebrate Christmas in July. I should get some fancy Christmas backdrop or something. But anyway, these are the bags that I had from somewhere, and they are numbered, nice pretty gold bags. And I have no idea if there's a theme to these or not, but here is the first one. That's a very pretty color, and I have to say that they feel very nice. It's a very nice feeling yarn. So a pretty aqua shade. Now I have a board down here. I'm going to pin them on, and then I'll be able to show them to you after this does not want to work. There we go. There's the first one. When I get done all 6, I'll hold the board up so you can see it. So number 2, here is number 2. And ooh, here's a color I like. Pretty pink. And it will go nicely with that other color. It's not a fade, that's for sure. I don't think there is a theme, although I don't know if the person originally had a color picture for their inspiration or what, but anyhow. And here is number 3. Oh, interesting. It's got yellow and pink in it. Now it could go next to the last one, I think. And then we have number 4. So far, I'm really liking these. A nice neutral. I like that they aren't a fade. I've seen a number of things made with advent calendars that are just hit and miss with the colors, and I kind of like the look of some of them. That's a nice color. a nice neutral color. I have a tendency, though, to pick out minis that all blend together when I do it, and I need to not be so OCD about it. Anyhow, here is number 5. Ooh, ooh. Of course I would ooh at that, wouldn't I? Very pretty, and I'm glad to have a solid in it. These have all been, oh no, the first one was solid or tonal. The others were speckled, and now we have a solid again. I really like that, and of course I love that color. And finally, number 6. I don't know why there are bags missing from this set. I would have put them all in the same place. So why 2 are gone, I have no idea. Now here's one that doesn't excite me as much, but still very nice. Yeah, that's pretty. So I'll pin it up here. So this is what we have so far. The first 6 days. And this one actually goes to 25. Pretty, very pretty. Be interesting to see then what we get as the month progresses. So that's the beginning of Christmas in July. Now, while we're looking at minis, I guess we'll continue to talk about yarn. I actually have some happy mail, and I was told I did not have to share it in a video, but I want to share it. For those of you that watch Gary at Urban Yarn, you will have seen this yarn earlier in a video he did. He ordered some yarn from Hobie. Some of you may say hobby, but I think Hobie is the way they say it. And he was, I think Hobie sponsored this with him. Now, don't take it for sure, but I think he was doing a special travel, I don't know what it was about, but anyway, they sent him some yarn to do some projects. And Gary, if I'm messing this up, I really apologize. And I believe, if I recall what Gary said, he was making a vest or maybe a sweater. And so he had this yarn, and from my understanding, he had more yarn than he needed. And so he asked if I'd be interested in seeing it. It isn't enough to make anything, but it would be an opportunity for me to see what it is like if I ever wanted to order it. And it is something that I would consider ordering. So some of you have seen this before. He had 2 skeins of this alpaca silk in the gray. Now the gray there and the gray here do not look the same, but it's gray. It's color number 5 if you're looking at it online yourself, and it is 70% alpaca and 30% mulberry silk, and it does feel heavenly, and it has, sorry, I think I've just got the hiccups. It has 181 yards. It does feel heavenly. It really, really does. 181 yards, and I think it was something like $13.99 US on, that's going by memory, but I remember thinking it was a bit expensive. But he sent me 2 of this, and he sent me 2 of black, and I'm a person that likes black. A lot of people don't want to work with black. this is just really nice feeling. And one other one, by the way, this is color number 8. And finally, he sent me this one that's kind of a blue-gray, steel blue, and it's color number 17. Now, I could put these 4 together, black and gray, could make something. That is a possibility. And it would be, I don't know, about 750 yards, the two of them put together. I have to think about that. I'm not going to make use of these until at least the winter, and it might be even not this year, but next year. I would love to make a sweater in the black and then maybe just put a little gray in it for a highlight. It is thin. It doesn't tell you the weight on here, but I would call it a fingering weight anyway, maybe even a lace weight, but a fingering weight, I think. Very, very soft. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to keep it all in the bag that Gary sent it in and keep it in some spot where I don't lose sight of it. So I keep thinking about if I want to get more and what I want to make with it. This would make a lovely wrap that wouldn't be overly heavy and feels divine. Or I could even make a small, like a shawlette that you put around your neck, and then I wouldn't need as much. Something to think about. Now with that, he was pairing up this with this, and this is sweet tweed, and it is definitely a lace weight, if I can get it to separate here. They cling to each other. Oh, not... Well, when I get it separated, I get 2 strands. Very boring. There we go. There we go. There's 2 very single. They're very clingy. You don't want to make a mistake with this. It's not going to frog very easy at all. You can see all of the halo on it. And it is, here we go. It is 40% acrylic, 21 polyamide, 13 mohair, and 13 wool, 9 cotton, and 4 polyester. That's got everything in it. But it is the mohair that makes it so fine and lacy. And he paired these together, which is another possibility. And color number, I don't know if I can even find it on here. No. And this has 180 yards, so they're practically the same. They would work together, no problem. And he sent me 2 black, and he sent me 2 in the gray. Now, the gray aren't quite the same color, but it definitely could go on it. In fact, I like the gray. I guess it's in the black too. See the other colors running through it? And look at the colors in the gray. Very pretty. I don't know. I guess I'd have to try a swatch with them together to see how well I liked it. And it just seems that this is so soft on its own that I don't need something else. And this being soft could be added to a yarn that isn't soft and it would make it feel nicer. That's my thinking. But anyway, I don't know. I have it to take my time and ponder it. Now, there was one other thing in there which did surprise me. I knew he was sending these or something from that. But what I didn't know is that he also sent me this and asked if I recognized it. Now, if you follow Gary, he has mentioned that he does some dyeing. He likes to dye yarn when he has time. And quite a while ago, I gotta say more than a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, he mentioned that one of his favorite yarns to dye was this Madame T Trico Paris cashmere gold. And he said they don't sell it anymore. He can't get it. I think it came from Hobium. And I thought, I think I've got some of that. And sure enough, I had, if I'm recalling correctly, I had 3 skeins or balls of this. And I looked at it and I thought, well, I don't have any immediate use. I don't know why I even bought it. I have it here and it is nice and soft. And you know what? If Gary is looking for this, I'm going to send it to him. So he didn't know what I was sending him. I just asked if I could send him something and got his address and sent it to him. And so he was very surprised that I had remembered that he liked this yarn. And just this spring, he did a bunch of dyeing. And some of you would have seen all the different colors he dyed, and he had varying different yarns. And he dyed the yarn that I sent him, and this is what it is. Now, how generous of him to only keep 1, if I recall correctly, I sent 3, to only keep 1 and send me 2 of them back. And I certainly didn't expect him to send them back to me at all. But gray or black are 2 neutrals that I really, really like. And these each have 320 meters, which means there's 350 yards in each one. That's 700 yards, almost enough on its own to make a shawl. But I wouldn't make a plain gray shawl. I think what I'm going to do is take some special colors, like bright colors of minis, and put it with these skeins just to brighten it up a bit. I've seen a few shawls or asymmetric triangles where they have neutral colors, maybe cream with some other highlight colors, and I'm going to do something like that. When? I don't know. You know me and my to-do list, it gets longer every day. I won't live long enough to finish my to-do list, but I just can't believe that Gary sent this back to me. I really sent it so he could dye it and enjoy it. But thank you ever so much, Gary, and I will definitely make use of this and take some time. But those are all yummy yarns you sent me. So at some point, I will figure out what to do with them, or possibly order more yarn to go with those smaller balls. Now, I don't know, I think I mentioned that I've put myself on a yarn diet for at least a couple of months. Now, as Jackie will point out from Crochet ADHD, a diet is not a fast. And she's very correct. It's not like I won't buy anything, because, you know, I do have a monthly subscription with Arkansas, and I won't give that up. And every so often, EFA has a yarn that I can't resist, but I am doing less with EFA than I have done in the past. So I will be buying a little, but not as much, for at least 2 or 3 months. My shed goes up in October. The old one gets torn down in September, and the new one goes up in October. So that's what I'm saving for. So anyway, when it's built, I'll maybe show you a picture, a before and after picture. Okay, so we're still talking about yarn. I wanted to tell you a little story. I don't know if you remember when I showed the great big Christmas in June haul from EFA. By the way, for those that are new here, EFA is Expression Fiber Arts, and they are a yarn company in North Carolina, and they are my favorite of all yarns. And when you see my other videos, there's a wall of yarn behind me with all these cubbies, and that is all EFA yarn. They have more bases than any other yarn company I'm familiar with, and most of them are yummy. There's a couple I'm not as happy with, but most of them are wonderful. Well, I did a bunch of ordering during the winter, and I had it sent to my brother, who spends 6 months in Florida, and they brought it back to me, and I showed you the yarn. Well, the one thing I showed you was this yarn. I don't know if you remember, but I said at the time, I must contact them and talk to them about this yarn, and I did. Now, the reason I wanted to contact them is, isn't that a lovely color? And it's called Twisted Tweed, and it's in a color called Fire Kissed, I believe. Oh, upside down, I can't read that. Fire Kissed. And it is 42% fine merino, 43% superwash merino, and 15% Donegal. It is sport weight, and it has 351 meters or 384 yards. And the reason I wanted to contact them with that was that I got one of these, not sure if the red was as nice as I thought it would be, and when I got it I really liked it, and it's a really nice weight. Being a sport weight, it's not, although it's not a heavy sport weight, I've got some fingering that's, I just thought as a sport weight it would have a little more weight or body to it than fingering to make a sweater in the winter, because DK is a little bit heavy, I find. I definitely would not be making myself, I don't think I would make a worsted weight, but anyhow, I wanted to make a sweater with this. They were having when I got this one, they were having a special on their Twisted Tweed. So I sent them a letter, and it's usually answered by Pam, who is their customer service person. And I said, is there any chance that you could dye up some more Fire Kissed sometime in the near future, because I would like to make a sweater out of that color. So I'd appreciate if there's any chance of dyeing more of this, because they didn't have it on their site at the time. It must have sold out when I bought this one. Well, I got a response from Shandy herself, and Shandy said, sure thing, we can do that. That would make a great sweater. So it's on pre-order. You go and order what you need. And I did. I ordered 3 more, and they arrived this past week. And so now I have enough in this color and their oatmeal color. And I'm going to make a couple of sweaters in these. Now, sweaters probably aren't going to get done until the fall. Maybe I'll start in August. I have a lot that I want to get done right now. And I do have one acquisition to show you. And that's because, that's because I'm still looking at as many Canadian dyers as I can, because I've explained a few of the hassles with getting yarn from the US, and it's not getting the yarn that's a problem, it is the shipping company that they use that is often a problem. So I found a company called Roseseal. I don't know if you're going to be able to read this, it's so dark. No, sorta, you can read it. Roseseal Yarns. I will link them down below, and I just wanted to see what their yarn was like, so I got a couple of skeins to go together. The skeins are both fingering weight, 463 yards, and they're a merino nylon 75-25 blend. And these are the colors I got. This one is called Double Chocolate, so you can see the 2 sort of shades of brown running through it. And this is the same base, and it's called Reindeer Games. I like it all by itself, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to put these two together in something. I've been looking for patterns that have 2 colors or 3 colors to use up some of my yarn. Now, this is a company in Ontario. For those of you that know Ontario or Canada at all, it is a company that is, well, the city is Burlington. Some of you will know it, but for those that are not Ontarians, it is very close to Toronto, and Toronto's the capital of the province. And most of you have heard of Toronto, I think. So it's just outside of Toronto, and that's 3.5 hours drive from me. So nice yarn. Now, it is a little thinner than some fingering weights. The feel of it, it's funny, this one feels softer than this one. It might have to do with the dye color. It feels nice, nothing against the feel of it, but it's not the nicest I've felt. But as I told you, I am going to do a 1 week of all Canadian dyers and 1 week of all American dyers and compare dyers from what I know about them. And in most cases, it's just the feel of them and how they were to work with, because I haven't had time to make something in every one of them. And so I'm going to put this on my table. I have pulled out all the Canadian dyers this past week, and I'm just amazed at how many I have. So that will happen in a few weeks, maybe even August, and I'll add that. Now, I ordered more than this because they did charge shipping, but I don't recall that it was very much. They had a very high level to get free shipping, which I wasn't going to spend. But they had some mini bundles I wanted to try. So here's the first one, and I really, really like it. Same base as the others. And this is called, do we have a name? Oh yeah, Cherry Chocolate Fade. And I really like it, and I bought 2 bundles because I'm thinking I'm going to use the fade twice in a shawl, because I believe there's about 400 and some yards. These are probably all 87 yards. I don't know if it says on here. Oh, they're all 92 yards. 92, so that makes it times 5, makes it getting close to 500, over 450, 460 yards in a bundle, and I have 2 of them. So that will be well over 900 yards, and I'll make a really good size shawl. So I bought 2 of these. And the second one I bought is called Lavender Reflection. Now, I don't see a real heavy lavender look. That looks wine to me. This has a little bit of a purple look in it. The others are sort of pink and gray and wine again. But anyhow, there is that set. And again, I bought 2 of them to put together. I think I like this one better. I bought this one partly on the name, and I'm a little bit, just a teeny bit disappointed in that, because it doesn't look like a lavender to me. So those are the acquisitions. I just made that one. They arrived just the end of last week. I still have a couple of acquisitions from way back in the winter I haven't gotten to yet, and I might get to them later this month, or it might even be August, because I'm not making purchases like usual. So one last thing I will mention is whips. What am I working on? Well, I'm doing another it'll come to me, shawl. Oh, gee. It was on the tip of my tongue as I started to say it, and then it disappeared. Windsurfer. I'm doing another windsurfer shawl, And that's where you use, I'm going to put a picture of the last one I did up here. I just finished it last month sometime. And I just like having it sort of on the side to work back and forth with whatever I'm doing. If I get kind of bored, or not bored so much as you get to a complicated place in a pattern and you need a break. So I decided to start another windsurfer shawl, and I am using, yarn is back here, I am using these two cakes. One starts light and the other starts dark, and I'm starting them both from the center and working out. These are Cotton Kings. These are the old Cotton Kings Hobie used to have. They've now changed over to Sultan Cotton or something like that. I don't know if the colors are the same or if it's a total new line. But anyway, I started this and just barely started it. And there's what I've got done so far. I like the colors. There won't be a lot of color change, which is okay. I knew that when I picked them. And it's just something that's so easy because it's a moss stitch that I can pick it up when I want something mindless to do. And I'm using my dots hook 3.5. So that is one thing I started last week. And I also started, and that's the thing I'm working on the most, I started another Wilma Westenberg shawl. I forgot to bring the shawl down with me, but I'll pop a picture here of the actual gradient cake I am using. It's a mill end. It had no band on it, but it's probably a yarn art cotton cake. And it is called the Bella Vita shawl, and I'm doing it to be part of a cowl by, I don't know, something, 3 glasses. There's 3 different creators who are going together. I find it interesting that one is from the UK and one is from the US and one is Canadian, and in fact she's in Ontario, the same province as I am. And these 3 ladies went together and came up with a pattern for everybody to work together on. I know a few others are participating as well. And by the way, I watched Nina's Knots Crochet showing of everybody's tanks and tees, and I saw quite a number of you participated in that Tanks and Tees 2023. But anyway, there's the cake I'm using, and that's the shawl I'm working on, and I'm pretty sure that I'll have it as a finished object for you to see next week. So it doesn't matter that you didn't see it this week. It'll be done next week because I'm at about row 50, and I think there are 75 rows, so I'll be done soon. So next week, we're going to do a little more opening of our Christmas in July yarn. And the other thing is, next week is the beginning of our summer cowl. And you know we're all going to be working together on the Just Feel Festive shawl. Now I'm going to suggest that you have your hooks and yarn with you next week. And most of you, I'm sure, can follow the pattern all on your own, or you can go to the tutorial on YouTube and follow that. Although I did have somebody tell me they found it confusing because they thought they were going to have one thing and it looks like something else. And part of the reason was the terminology. They think they're getting a shawl. They think they're getting a shawl like this that has a V shape with wings. No, it's a wrap that is straight out and it has slanted ends, and it's called bias, stitching on the bias. So my plan is, if I can get the camera set up in a way that I can show you, because that's a very difficult thing to do, I am going to start the first couple of rows. Hopefully I can do the chain. Well, I'll have a chain done when we come online. you might want your chain to be made already too. And I'm going to try and do a row in each direction. And if it's not too weird or uncomfortable, I'll do it again, a row in each direction, just to help those that may not be sure. So you need to have your yarn and your hook with you and be ready to start. And the other thing I want to say is I started another Ravelry group or thread in Ravelry under my name. And it's all for this cowl. And what I'd really love is throughout the 6 weeks that you post to show, or you might post the first week just to show the yarn you chose. And then maybe you post when you get a little bit started partway through, or comment on other people's. I would love for there to be some chatter going on about this wrap, which I call it a wrap, as we progress through the 6 weeks. And you never know what I might do with the information there and those participating. Now, if you do not have Ravelry, it's a very easy and free thing to set up a Ravelry group, not a Ravelry group, a Ravelry account. And if you're not sure, I'd be happy to help you work through that, but it is very straightforward. And I can show you, maybe I'll take the time next week to show you where to find the group in the community and how to respond. I did that once before, but there's a lot of new people. By the way, I'm super excited. I'm over 900 now, folks. So how long do you think it's going to take me to get to 1,000? I think it's going to slow down now, but that was over 80 new people in about 2-3 weeks. And I know it's because I'm participating in the Christmas in July fairies. And well, over the weekend is the end of that, and I have to draw a semi-finalist on the weekend and put up, today's the 6th, and I believe my video has to go up on the 11th. So before we get back again, somebody will have been declared a winner of my Christmas in July video, and that semi-finalist will get sent on to the next stage. So be watching for that at the first of the week. So that's everything for now. We're going to work on our summer cowl together next week, and of course open more of Christmas in July yarn. So have a great week, and until then, happy hooking.